Welcome to this week's Monday Match Points on a Tuesday. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I have my usual cohorts with me this afternoon, and we're going to go ahead and dive right in. For my report, I want to talk a little bit about student limitations and what those limitations are for kids in terms of the number of matches that they can play in a particular day. And so this is more directed towards our coaches. I'm going to go ahead and share just a screenshot of the volleyball manual here. What I've had in terms of questions early on in the season is if we have those girls that swing back and forth between, say, varsity, JV, C team, freshman, amongst those different levels, how many matches can they play in a single day? And so I've shared this information here. It's in the volleyball manual. I think it's on page 10 or 11 in the volleyball manual. And the short version of this is if you're playing in a triangular and you have a JV version and a varsity version, you get two matches. Each individual girl gets two matches. If you're playing in a dual and you have a reserve, a JV, and a varsity, same thing, you get two matches. So any participation in a set counts as participation in a match. There is no set limit like there is a quarter limit in basketball. That's a really popular question. It's just any participation in the match, whether it's for 1 point or every point, counts as participation in that match. Tournaments are different. You can compete in a tournament in more matches than you can in another type of competition. So when we say no student shall take part in more than 6 volleyball matches per week, we are not talking about tournament competition. In tournament competition, students can play in 4 matches each day. Unless you travel outside the state of Nebraska on the varsity level, you can play 5. And that's only if that state allows it. The other thing to remember with tournaments is, again, if you have one of those girls that goes back and forth between, say, a JV and a varsity, if you have a JV tournament and a varsity tournament happening on the same day in the same location, that individual can't bounce back and forth between the two tournaments. They have to pick which tournament they're going to be playing on or playing in that day and have to stick with it. So this is a really common question at the beginning of the season for me. So if there are more questions, if there are special circumstances, give me a call in the office. Coaches, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to get back to you. But again, this isn't anything new. This is something that's been around for a long time, but at the beginning of the year, we seem to get a lot of questions on this particular rule. For officials, one thing I want to stress is please enter your schedules on the NSAA website. This is what helps us determine if we can get out and observe you. This is another tool that we use to see how many matches you're working throughout the year. It's a part of a requirement for you as a volleyball official is to continue to keep your status. And we also look at it for postseason assignments to see how many matches you're working, which matches you're working, what area you're working, all those kind of things. So please go and put those varsity matches that you're working into the NSAA website. If you have any questions about how to do that as a newer official, feel free to reach out to me. It's on the login page of our website, your officials login page, but I can help you with that. Jake or Nate in our office can help you with that as well. But it's very important for us to know when and where you're working. So if you haven't, please go and put that information into the website. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kim.
Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about preventative officiating. I was in the volleyball manual and was reading this and thought it was good to review. I'm going to read this small snippet of it because I think it's a great piece, but it says, remembering at all times that faults and violations must be penalized when they occur. Officials frequently can eliminate certain faults and violations by their actions and words. Such preventative officiating is encouraged. So pre-match, what are some things that you can do that are preventative officiating? You can, verify with the legality of the team uniforms. If there's anything you need to check ahead of time, if there's a ankle brace or shoulder brace, you can look at all that stuff before the match begins. You can also, there's so many things you can do. You can make sure the number of all the numbers that are in the book, if the numbers are on the floor, if they're in the book, count the number of players that are on the floor and that it coincides with the scorebook. Verifying player uniform numbers. Those are all things that you can do ahead of time. Making sure the coach has designated a playing floor captain, that they've put that on their sheet that they've turned in. But during the set, some preventative officiating things you can do is asking the coach. Sometimes libero is their captain. If they go out, who is their captain that's on the floor? We need to have a captain on the floor. So asking those things, informing coaches when they're 15th, 16th and 17th and 18th substitutions that they've had that number of substitutions. Informing the coach when they've taken 2 timeouts. I always, try to look at the coach and remind them. And sometimes the coach isn't looking at you, but you can tell the assistant coach, that's 2 timeouts, so they know that. It's just an important piece to do that preventative officiating that can help you out a long ways as you're in a match, a heated match, all those things, warning if they're, huddling up too much or doing some of those things, you need to maybe warn them and then, move on. And those are all things that you can talk about in your pre-match meeting as well. So just wanted to talk about that preventative officiating. It's a great piece. If you want to look at your officials manual, there's some great information in there. And now I'll turn it over to Craig.
Thanks, Kim. I just wanted to quickly just kind of go over what the standard warm-up times are. I know a lot of newer officials have asked me that question just because they didn't know. So for the first time that any team plays in a day, they get 16 minutes. It's 5 minutes first for the home team. Actually, it's shared for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, it's the home team that actually has the court first, followed by the visiting team. And then the last minute is where the teams are supposed to go back to their bench to get ready for the match. One other thing that was new, I think it was either last year or the year before, is 15 seconds before the warm-up period ends, you're supposed to do a tweet to let the team know they're about done with their time. So that's one thing I've noticed that some refs maybe aren't doing is blowing that warning whistle, which I also tell the scoreboard operator, we always kind of give them a warning when they're supposed to buzz the horn if it's not at a tournament. And that kind of helps with that. The other one is after the teams have played one match for the day. So every time the team plays their first match, they get 16 minutes, even if it's a team that they're playing that has already had 16 minutes. But after all teams have had their 16-minute warm-up, usually they go to an 11-minute warm-up. Someone once taught me they call it the dolly because it's 9 to 5. So that's when you switch. So basically, instead of the 5-5-5-1, it's 2-4-4-1. So that's just real quick what I wanted to talk about because I've had a lot of questions about what the changes or what the times are for the warm-ups. Ken, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Craig. I just want to talk about the rule change on team uniforms this year. It's Rule 421, and it's dealing with undergarments. And so the undergarment can be worn in the top of the jersey or the top of the uniform, as long as it's the predominant color of the uniform. So if the uniform top is red, the undergarment can be long sleeve or short sleeved. And if one person on the team wears it, then all members must wear the same color. They don't all have to have an undergarment, but if they do, it has to be the same color, excluding the libero. They're not in this part. And so it can be either the team color, the predominant color, or this year it can be black, white, or gray. But on the team, we can't have somebody in a black undergarment and somebody in a red undergarment on the top. And the bottom of the uniform, or the shorts, that undergarment can be full length or it can be just partway down the leg as a spandex, and it may not match the undergarment of the top. It may be a different color. So the top undergarment and the bottom undergarment do not have to be matching colors. However, they do need to be solid colors. They need to be solid colors. And so the other thing that comes up a lot with us is, well, what about headbands and compression sleeves? Those are not part of the uniform. So we don't care what color headbands are. We don't care what color compression sleeves are, if they're multicolored or single color. We don't care the color of knee pads. We don't care the color of socks. They're not part of the uniform. And the other question comes up is some uniforms allow, you might see a sports bra that's a bright color that doesn't match the uniform. We don't regulate foundation garments. So just to be clear, the undergarment, the t-shirt or the long sleeve top, color the uniform or black, gray, or white, and all team members match if the team member is going to wear it. Same on the bottom. Craig, Kim, do you have additional comment?
Perfect.
Only thing that I would add to that is the compression sleeve is a really popular question that I get. And Ken's right. It does not have to match. You could have 4 girls on the team that wear it, 10 that don't. And of the 4 that do wear it, they could all be different colors. The only thing that I would add to that is as I'm sitting on this call with 3 officials or former officials, it sure would make it nice and much easier for people to distinguish your libero is if there was some matching coordination on that. So if that doesn't cause an issue with the individuals on your team, for the coaches that are watching this, the more matching that you can do on that kind of stuff, the better. But as far as compression sleeves go, it's not required. And the only other thing that I would add too before we wrap today up is what Craig was talking about with the warm up. We have that spelled out on our website. It's the rules guide document that we have, I think, under the general information tab on the volleyball page. So when I upload this in the description of the video or the comments section, I'll make sure that I put a link to that document in there, and it lays that out in terms of what that warm up looks like for our matches, along with a number of other things for this season. So with that, I appreciate everybody's time. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend and hope everyone has a great week. We'll see you next week.